Hey, what's up guys? This is Brian from Whisper Status 74. This is going to be another community video. Community videos are typically shout outs to one specific person who is going through a challenge in regards to technology or something that they're struggling with. I've done videos like this in the past, and actually this is primarily the reason why this channel and or community or family exists, is to help individuals with tech. For many of you, I think the channel confuses you. You think this is just a TV channel. You should buy TVs, display them, return them. It's not really what the channel is about. We do talk a lot about technology, but we do handle it as a community, and we do help each other discern different information that is most helpful to people. And this is where the channel is helpful. We'll just say that one of our community guys, Robert, is in the process of having his third display. Now, this channel was created for this specific reason, as I have had to return many displays due to defects. Now, none of the channels, or I should say, none of the displays that I returned were due to me not liking them. Even the ones that I wasn't a huge fan of, I would have kept. It was just that there was defect after defect, dead pixels, banding, flashlighting. There are many videos on this channel that cover that entire journey. If you're new to the channel, please check out the 4K Nightmare / journey and what you can learn, as I do the entire series that way. But this one is specifically for Robert. Now, Robert had two different TCL 6 series that were heavily covered in DSC, dirty screen effect. Now, for those of you again that are new to the channel, I don't criticize brands specific. Never. I'll never trash a brand. I also don't trash retailers. Unfortunately, due to the lack of physical retailers, at least here in the States, Best Buy kind of comes under this. Even though I still shop there, I am an elite member there, or it's called elite, whatever. I don't. What I do here is kind of help you guys deal with handling them at times, because you have to really be careful with the way some of the salesmen or salespeople talk and make you feel uncomfortable. Now, we're going to go through the story really quickly. Two TCL 6 series had some dirty screen effect, meaning Robert is knowledgeable enough to recognize dirty screen effect. Now, he sees it. It's obvious. He brings one back. He isn't, by the way, he's an elite, pro elite Best Buy person, meaning he spent a few $1,000s there. My status there was buying 2 TVs and 2 receivers, not to mention all kinds of video games and movies. But what that does is it gives you, at least last time I went, it was 45 days return policy versus 15 days. Now, that return policy is supposed to be no questions asked, similar to Costco's in that regard. You bring it back and you should be all set. It doesn't always work that way. Unlike Costco, you're not dropping it off to a cashier or a front desk. You're dealing with sometimes the same person that sold you the display. Now, even though they're not commissioned, from what I understand anymore, you can get some pushback. I've gotten it, and I consider myself extremely knowledgeable, and I can tell you that I've had to push back quite a bit, from the managers to the above managers and so on and so forth. But what's key, before I get into Robert's story, is when we buy these things, you should be elated. You should be excited. You've done research. It should be one of the best days. I mean, you can't wait. It should not be stressful. However, due to the panel lottery, it is very, very stressful. And he buys 2 TCLs, and then as he brings them back, finds himself kind of talked into buying a Samsung Q70R. This is where the research that we do is very important. Even the videos where you see me break down ratings.com's, their own reviews, where some of you guys think that, or some people say I steal their content. They know I make those videos, by the way. Breaking them down will, to the very, very basic level for all of us, can let you know if one of them has a higher color gamut, one is better for HDR, one is not good in a bright room. So us breaking these down is very helpful, because the research that many of us do becomes too much. I know what I'm looking for, and I'm doing this all day. I look at TVs, I check them out, I break them down, but I'm not an engineer, I am not a calibrator, but some people just look at the name Q7 series, and they purchase it. Now, there's nothing wrong with the Q70 at all. It's just that Robert really wanted the Q80. I don't know if he was talked into the Q70, but when he went in for his second return, he was thought, or at least whether it was him or the salesperson, was kind of giving him that warning. Hey man, can't do too many of these, you're going to get banned. Hey, just letting you know, too many of these. I'm going to let you know this. Best Buy has had that policy in the past. From what I understand, it doesn't matter now. They don't really hold true to that anymore. The policy used to be between 4 and 5 displays, and they would kind of blackball you or ban you from purchasing there. I will tell you that do not let them, or anybody for that matter, make you think you have to make a decision that you're not ready to make. Robert wasn't ready to, when he brought back the second one, while they were pitching to him, hey, you might as well try something else. And every salesperson is going to push you towards their specific brands. Every store is different. Now, I have Best Buy employees on the channel, in the community. At any point, guys, jump in here as well. As you know, I'm never in there to try to kill either the retailer or the people that work there either. So please don't take it like that. These are humans. They're at their job. But like many humans, they don't want to be bothered either. A lot of them. A lot of them are very knowledgeable. A lot of them are not. But I will tell you, in retail in general, whether it's clothing or whatever, if people aren't making commission, they're not really vested, a lot of them. Unless they're good at heart and ready to help. For the most part, it's a huge inconvenience to take this display, put it back, write everything up, switch the order over. I've watched them do it many, many times. It's not something anybody wants to do before their break, and they're going to say like, oh, Jesus, dude, please just take your TV and go home. Trust me, that's how it works for many, many people, just in retail in general. Think about that whenever you go to even a high-end store. They're not making commission. They're not going to be quite as vested or even quite as friendly. My thing is this. Don't walk into that place nervous. Don't walk into that place feeling guilty. I've done it. I've walked in, I've searched around for a while, I've looked around, and then I make my way to the front desk. And they look at me and they're like, oh, Jesus, here he is. And you're like, hey, yeah, that TV I bought, the second one, is defective. Now, I was going in there with 75-inch TV, so I couldn't even bring them in with me. I had to have the delivery switch them out, everything else. But a lot of times I was made to feel that I was over-exaggerating. Now, many of you will watch this video and say to yourself, hey, you guys are being a little bit too picky. You're on a tech channel. Of course we're picky. Of course we're very, very picky, or we're enthusiasts, the majority of us. So if you find this and say, hey, man, it's just a TV, then I wouldn't be looking at tech channels and thinking, wow, these guys are too picky. A lot of you are making these purchases, whether they're 42 inches or 80 inches. Whether they cost a few $100s or a few $1,000s, they should perform. You should be happy with them. So, back to Robert's story. He goes through 2 TCLs. He gets a little bit pushed to make a quick decision. He grabs a Q70. He gets it home, and he's not happy with it. Now, again, nothing wrong with the Q70. But when he hit me up and said, look, I have the Q70. I expected a little bit more. Now, all these TVs, by the way, again, nothing wrong with the Q70. He might have been looking for higher peak brightness, better blacks, higher up in the food chain. Now, he had done his research and kind of felt that he made a quick decision to the Q70R. So my response to him was tell them that you're not happy with it. Now, the problem with not being happy with it, guys, this is key. They're going to try to hit you with a restocking fee. So you can say it doesn't function, there are defects with it. It's very dicey with you don't like it. So I would change the verbiage a little bit to I'm not happy with its performance, I'm not happy with its black level. Be overly analytical with them, basically saying that you're not happy with the performance, not I don't like it. It's not being dishonest, but you want to put more detail into the way you speak with them. And you're a pro elite member or elite Best Buy member. They should want to please you. They don't. So he goes in. I'm not happy with the Q70R. We dialogue on it, what to say. Not to be too dishonest or anything like that. You want to just get your point across. First of all, you've already been inconvenienced twice with the 2 other displays. And if anybody in the store knows anything about TVs, they know that TCLs, Hisense, even Vizios are prone to some dirty screen effect. That is a panel flaw. They don't all have it. There's nothing wrong with those displays. They've just been known to typically have some problems. You can show it to them. So, I get a message from him today. He has the Q80R. He's very, very happy with it and is so happy he made the choice. Here's the problem, though. They warned him out the door that this would be his last return. That he would probably, after that, we can't do any more of these. I would at that moment say, well, you need to then take this Q80R and give me my money back. And I'll take my business elsewhere. Do not, and this is where my smile disappears, do not let anyone, I don't care who it is, tell you you're all done. I hope this one's good, buddy. First of all, Samsungs have a very high defect rate. Why? There are more of them. They're one of the highest selling displays out there. With that volume, you're going to have issues with them. Nothing wrong with them. But for someone to tell you, hey man, this is the last one, nonsense. Nonsense. You will say to them, here it is. You can put that back on my credit card. I'm out of here. Go to another Best Buy. Or whatever. Go to Amazon. I want you to say that to them. If you're at Elite, Prime, I don't care if you don't even have an account there. When they say that to you, I would say at that moment, well, let me speak to your manager, please. If you get nowhere with that manager, I want you to go to the nearest wall where you see the picture of the male or female on the wall manager, and you're going to take that number down. And you're going to call that person. That's their personal cell phone. And you're going to tell them, I'm not happy with your products. There are problems with them. I'm being told that I'm going to be banned. You shouldn't be nervous. You shouldn't be stressed. This should not be stressful. I know it is. Buying a car is terrible. Buying high-end items is hard. But when you end up with this anxiety about walking into the store, I've been there. My Best Buy, when I walk in now, still looks around. I know a bunch of them. They're all really, really nice. Shout out to a couple of them. You know who you are. But the other ones will scatter. Now, my displays range from $4,000 at Best Buy to $8,000. $8,000. Think about that now, how, to me, it's idiotic that I spent that money. But with that money, it bought me no capital. It bought me no privilege. If anything, it was like, dummy, you want to spend that money? You know how these things are. And the pictures I had, there's videos on the channel of those displays. Dead pixels everywhere, screen problems, flash lighting. But you shouldn't walk into this place like you're walking into the DMV. If you guys have ever been into the DMV, you kind of walk in and that person has power for that few minutes. And you're like, hey, how are you? How's everything? Hope everything. You're just hoping that they give you what you want so you can leave. It's a terrible feeling. That person behind the counter has a few minutes of power. They can make or break or waste your time or waste your day. Always be polite. Always be firm. But when they start telling you in absolutes, like, hey, this is your last one, I would say, really? This one you can have. You should not, I don't want you feeling that way. The strongest person in the world is nervous about this. So Robert is not being weak. Other people we've done videos on about this aren't being weak. If anything, they're trying to control themselves. Don't go in there aggressive. You're going to be out no matter what. But you go in there polite but firm. But once they start threatening you with being banned, I would say, cool, you can lose all my business. And I'd like the number of the guy on the wall. I would also love the number of your district manager as well, meaning the manager of the entire group of them. And see what they say. These are computers. These are fickle electronics. They're huge. There's going to be problems. There's going to be screen problems. 75 is the sweet spot for screen uniformity. Higher than that, you will see some issues. It doesn't mean you should accept them. Now, I'm sorry for the way I'm acting in this video. I typically try to keep things pretty cheery, but I don't like hearing that people are getting pushed into purchases. Now, what happens if he gets that Q80R home? Now, he has a clean panel. What happens if he got that home and there's something wrong with it? He's stuck with it? Now, we're not talking about somebody who's being picky. We're not talking about somebody who has, I don't like it. I wanted an OLED. That you really, now this is where you have to defend the store. You can't flip-flop. You can't say, I want an OLED, I like an LED, I want a bigger one, I want a little one. Then you should pay a restocking fee. But in Robert's case, he was already inconvenienced twice. Whoops, twice. With dirty screen effect. That's 2 trips to the store, maybe 4 trips to the store. He should have been able to get the display he wanted. He was kind of pushed towards the Q70, whether they're trying to move that amount at that time, whether they have them in stock. It's not the display that he wanted. He also had the money for the Q80, so he was ready to buy that display. Now you can say whatever you want about him having to buy the Q70. That's not the point. The point is he wasn't being picky, but he wanted that wow factor. And you're going to say, well, maybe he shouldn't have bought the TCL. Well, the TCL highest spec does have wow factor. So does the highest Hisense, and so does the highest Vizios. They have that wow factor that the top of the line displays have. That's what he wanted. And he probably upgraded to get that. But to make him feel guilty about it, or make him feel like he's inconveniencing them, that is the mistake. That is when you pull your business out. And that's when you don't get vocal. Don't even be about as firm as I'm being in this video. But when someone threatens me or comes at me, this is the face they get. This is where you're telling me I'm nervous about going back to a place that I just gave thousands of dollars to? No. Be polite, be firm, get what you want, guys. You do too much research, you work way too hard to feel like it's your fault. I have people that are nervous, they have 4 dead pixels on their display. Now here's the difference. Once you get through the retailer and get into the manufacturer, they're much less forgiving. And you have much less bargaining posture. You have much less of a position. For Samsung, I believe dead pixel 10 or 11 is their tolerance. As long as they're not in the middle of the screen, they'll tell you tough. When I dealt with Samsung with a TV that was $10,000, they're like, sorry, it's not going to buy you anything. The only power you have is when you're still with the retailer in that return window. So do your research. See all kinds of videos and written reviews, user reviews. But when you go in there, do not let anybody tell you this is the last one. If you return 5 or 6 of them, I suggest you take a break and pull your money out. Because clearly that location is not helping you, or you're just having a ton of bad luck, which happens. Guys, I had 11 of them from between Best Buy and Amazon. But I pulled my business away from Best Buy because they started to try to muscle me a little bit. And I was dealing with the main manager. We'll do one more. And as soon as he said, we'll do one more, I said, no, thank you. I said, I'd like to take my money out, please. And he said, sure, no problem. He was on the phone with me. Let's look at what we got here. And he saw that it was $8,000. Oh my God, are you sure? No, I will take my money, please. That's how you have to be. Polite but firm. But do not let them make you settle. Ever. Ever. If you're coming across that, say, hey, look, I'd like to deal with somebody else, please. Don't worry about hurting anybody's feelings as long as you're calm. Don't worry about the store not liking you. It's going to be an inconvenience. And I'm not that guy that walks into a restaurant and complains. I'm not that way. These are things you work very, very hard for and you save up. They excite you. Robert's experience was ruined twice by 2 different displays, 2 different times. You can't calculate the amount of money he spent or the time he wasted. To go in there and be threatened on the 3rd return is unacceptable. I'm glad he didn't settle for it, but upon his initial comment, he was about to settle for it. So Robert, I'm glad you were happy with your Q80R. It's an excellent display. Anyone that's had this experience, please leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm sorry for my demeanor in this video, but I am passionate about it. This is why this community exists, guys. It is here to help, not just to help you buy a TV, but to know where you stand when dealing with the retailers. Walk in there, do not feel bad, go directly to the desk and just say, look, I'm not happy. This thing's not working properly. Come get it. All right, guys, thank you. As always, hope everyone is doing well during the holidays. Let me know what you think in the comments. I love you guys. Thank you for everything. I'll talk to you soon. Robert, I'm glad you love your new display. Take care.